Originally, this video was going to be about how I recorded my church's choir service for Easter. I had already started working on a script and had recorded some footage for that video. Unfortunately, not everything went to plan, as there were many technical issues during that service, which is the reason I'm making this video. After the service, we as the choir talked about what had happened, and after much discussion, we realized that all the technical problems we had were due to us missing the soundcheck. It was this tough lesson that taught us the importance of this step, and ultimately made us decide to never neglect the soundcheck again. What is a soundcheck? A soundcheck is when all the performers sing and play together so that everyone gets a sense of what the space or venue sounds like. This is usually a song that the band and the singers know really well. The song length varies, but for my choir, it's a simple prayer that's sung and lasts about a minute. The soundcheck stage was recently incorporated into the choir, and it made a huge difference to our Sunday service, as it gave us enough time to switch from rehearsal mode to performing mode. Our rehearsal space is one of the spare rooms at the back of the church. It's fairly small and dry, and it sounds completely different to the main space where we sing, which is large and has nice reverb to it. So having this chance to get used to the new space is really useful. How does it help? The soundcheck helps me as the front of house, as I can make sure that everything is working. Making sure that everything is coming through as expected, that none of the cables are broken, ensuring all monitors are turned on and working on stage, and that the front of house speakers are at the appropriate level are my priorities. As we are a small choir, this also gives me enough time to set the right balance between each of the singers and the instrumentalists. Getting a consistent sound for every Sunday service is something that a choir strives to do, so a soundcheck helps us by removing a lot of the guesswork when it comes to mixing. I know this is effective because the levels I set during the soundcheck rarely change drastically throughout the service, whereas before we incorporated the soundcheck, I always had to mix the first hymn instead of playing and singing. The soundcheck also helps the singers as they can adjust their position so they are comfortable when singing. This helps them feel less nervous and sing at their best. They can also make any requests or any changes to their monitoring mix or level if it's not quite right. Getting the singers monitoring is crucial as it can completely change the way they sing. If the monitor mix is too instrument heavy, the singers will feel they are too quiet and as a result, sing too loud and strain their voices. Whereas if the mix is too vocal heavy, the singers will react by stepping back from the mic, which can lead to a weak sounding performance. The vocals are the main part of our choir, so it's very important that I facilitate them the best I can. This soundcheck helps our choir achieve a cohesive sound right from the get-go. By now, I hope you can see why a soundcheck is so important. So why did we have these technical issues? Well, it's simply because we didn't have enough time. For Easter, our choir performed for 3 masses, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Before a soundcheck, we go over all the hymns for that mass in our rehearsal space. This takes about an hour, and after that, we go do a soundcheck in the main space. This went smoothly for Thursday and Friday as we managed to do a soundcheck well before the mass started. But on Saturday, we didn't have enough time, so we decided to prioritize doing a run-through of the mass instead of going out and doing a soundcheck. This, now looking back, wasn't the best decision, and as a result, we weren't prepared for the issues and technical problems that were ahead of us. This included the level not being right between the singers and the instrumentalists, the monitor for the singers not being turned on for the first hymn, the front of house being too quiet, various feedback problems during the mass, and the singers not being able to sing their best due to the changing mix. As the front of house and the guitarist for my choir, this brings up an interesting question. What is more important, a run-through or a soundcheck? I'm inclined to say both, but if I had to choose one, it would be doing the soundcheck. The way I look at it now is no matter how well you can sing or play, if you aren't comfortable performing or if no one can hear you, it's a waste. Our choir had rehearsed for all these masses and were very comfortable with the material we had to perform, but we let ourselves down by not prioritizing the soundcheck, which led to Saturday being just mediocre. To never let this happen again, our choir has decided to go into the singing space and do a soundcheck at least 30 minutes before the service, no matter what. This gives us enough time to fix any problems with equipment and helps us spend adequate time doing a soundcheck. Because the past week has taught me how important and underrated a soundcheck is, and made me appreciate it more than I ever have. If you're interested in more choir stuff, watch this video about the equipment cost for a vocal group. Have a nice day.